doesn't matter as much as the size of our image because we're not printing from CAD. We're just gonna PDF everything. So for here, I can double click here and I can name this elevation, right? So I know that that's gonna be my elevation sheet, or my elevation PDF. So do you guys remember how to change the scale? So let's say I wanna print this at a 1/4 inch scale.
Go to page setup manager.
No. So right now, this is what it's gonna print. This tiny sheet with colors. So to change the properties of my viewport, right? How do I change the properties of my viewport? I click on my viewport, because anything that's selected is going to give you the properties of in this properties box. So since I have nothing selected, it's giving me the properties of just the sheet, right? That's why it says layout name is elevation. I have no plot style. It's just the properties of the view. So if I click on the viewport, right, it's going to give me the properties of the viewport. If I accidentally delete it, do you guys remember the command to have a new viewport?
Control Z.
Pretend I did a bunch of things after that. So I don't know if you remember that because I did that real quick. The command for that is MV. I type in MV, I make my rectangle, and now everything in that model space will come up, okay? So I want to change the properties of that. I'm going to click it, and now I have all the properties. Do I want to print this rectangle? No, so what do I do to get that not to print? I have to put it on a layer that's not printable, remember? You know, we did this a long time ago. So I can come, I have it selected, and I can come here, and I can either go to my viewport layer, which I might have made here, because I usually do that on my own drawings. So I have a viewport layer, EP. Or I could put it on def points, because remember, def points doesn't plot. But I usually put it on viewport layer. And then to change the scale, I'm going to come down here where it says standard scale, and I'm going to look for 1/4 inch. Now, you see how as I'm going higher, my view is disappearing from my sheet? See that? So a way around that is I'm going to go into my viewport and zoom in on what I want on my sheet. And I want this drawing. Doesn't matter if it fits or not, I'm just going to zoom in. That way when I change the scale, it's not going to get lost in model space. So now, click out, go back to the properties of viewport, and now let me go find my 1/4, and now there it is. Okay? I can make it small, so that the only thing on the sheet is this, and it's at a 1/4 inch scale. I want to lock it, because if I don't lock it, if I come here and zoom in, go into my viewport, I'm going to get lost. Look, I can't get out. Actually, I can't. I mean, if I go like this. You know, I'm stuck in my model space. So to avoid that, I want to make sure before I click into it that I lock it. Okay? So this is what I want to print. I don't want colors though. So I have to put my plot style. Right? So how do I do that? How do I bring my plot style into AutoCAD? Options. Because that's going to tell me where, unless you remember where that file is, this is the easiest way to go. You don't have to remember. Right? So I come here to the plot style settings. I'm going to add a plot style, and this is where I want to put that plot style that I gave you guys. Either if you have that one or that one, whichever one you ended up with. Okay? So now it's in CAD. I can close all this. You only have to do this once on your laptops, but if you do it here on the computers, you have to do this every time. Okay. So now it's still in colors. What do I have to do? I have to... You're close, modify the page. So that's when I come here to Page Setup Manager, and now I modify. And this is where I want to put it, right up here. There it is. Now sometimes, if you notice that everything is not black and white and some colors are still coming out, this button right here is what will edit that plot style. So if you ever want to make your own, so you would click on here and you could just check to see like color 1 has 0.007. The blue, which is pretty dark, see it's 0.17. The color 11, which is that really light pink, it's no line weight, so that's why it's the thinnest. And you just want to make sure everything is on black. 13 is even lighter. That's the lightest one that I have, and that's no line weight, and it's 50% transparent. So if you see that there's a color being printed, see how it says use object color? We don't want it to do that. So I'm just gonna come here, press shift, and select all these colors and just change that to black. So if you notice that it's not all black, that's how you would change it, okay? So now my sheet is an E. I have a lot of white space on this sheet so that when I make my PDF, it's gonna be really big. I don't want that. So let me change my sheet to something smaller. It doesn't matter which size sheet because you're not actually printing it on paper, right? We're just gonna make a PDF of it. So let's see if it, make it 8.5 by 11, what happens? Yep, that looks better. So let me move it onto my sheet. I'm gonna make my viewport a little smaller. So now it should be ready. If I wanted to make it look like what it's gonna print, I just wanna make sure I display my plot styles. Am I going too fast? You guys remember this? Right, I have my line weights on. Sometimes you don't see the line weights. If you come to these 3 little bars over here, just make sure line weight is checked off, because if it's not, it's gonna, sometimes it'll look like it's all one line weight. Now it's not doing it, but if you notice that the line weights are not showing, just turn that on. Okay. So now I'm ready to PDF this. How do I PDF this? Plot. So if I come here and I plot, I just want to do a single sheet. I want to make this my general documentation. I hit OK. And now I'm going to put it wherever my file is for that project. So I'm going to go find Spring 05, design, class, whatever, final, dot, final. I'm sure you guys have. And I'm going to save it as a PDF. And now this is the file that I bring into Illustrator or PowerPoint or wherever you're making your final board. You don't make your final boards in AutoCAD. Okay? Make sense? So now you can bring this into your pretty final boards. And then when you do it this way, you keep everything super organized. So your elevation will have its sheet, your floor plan 1, floor plan 2, floor plan 3 section will all have its own sheet. And then it keeps everything nice and organized for you. Okay, any questions? So if you're using Rhino, try to do the same thing. Plot it. Are you going to bring it into CAD or no? You're just going to plot right from Rhino?
Probably. I'll probably bring it.
You bring it into CAD? Okay. And you remember how to do that, make 2D?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to change all your line weights. Any questions? Is everybody using Illustrator for their boards? Except I know you're using PowerPoint, right, Melas? How about you, Xavier and Jasmine? Are you using Illustrator for your final boards? Or PowerPoint? Or you... So what I did here is almost similar. You want to take the section, export it out, and then bring it into another program to make your final boards. Don't make your boards in layout. You did it PowerPoint last semester, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think so.
It's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay? No questions?
You said that's only for sections of
This is for anything to get anything out of CAD. Did you get that? You did not get that? I'll come and do it again. Do you guys want me to do it again slower? And then those of you that know don't have to pay attention. Want me to do it one more time? You want me to do it one more time? So you're working in AutoCAD. Now you want